They say every choice has a price, but what if the currency wasn't gold or jewels, but your own memories? What if, to survive, you had to sell the very moments that make you who you are? This is the story of Yusuf, a young man lost in the endless desert, searching for a legend his grandfather once told him, a story of a hidden well that led to another world. Days turned into a blur of scorching sun and freezing nights. Hope was a fading ember. Then he saw it. An ancient, crumbling well, half swallowed by the dunes. Driven by a thirst he could no longer ignore, he descended into the darkness, but at the bottom there was no water. Only a stone gate, etched with symbols that seemed to hum with an otherworldly energy. He pushed it open. A wave of strange air, thick with the scent of spices and something else. Something like forgotten dreams washed over him. Yusuf stepped through and found himself not in a cool cavern, but in a sprawling, impossible city. Towers of dark gold pierced a sky of perpetual twilight, and bridges of woven light connected floating bazaars. This was Valkara, the land where memories are currency. He watched, bewildered, as a vendor handed a piece of glowing bread to a woman. In return, she placed her hand on a shimmering orb. A faint light, like a wisp of smoke, traveled from her temple to the orb. The vendor smiled, but the woman's eyes seemed a little duller, a little more vacant. Yusuf was starving. He approached a stall filled with exotic fruits. "How much?" he asked, his voice hoarse. The merchant, a man with ancient eyes, simply pointed to the orb on his counter. "A memory," he said, "a happy one, from your childhood." Yusuf hesitated. He thought of a day spent flying a kite with his father, the wind in his hair, the pure joy of it. It was a small price to pay for food, wasn't it? He placed his hand on the orb. The memory flickered in his mind, vibrant and real, and then it was gone, not faded, but completely erased, leaving a hollow ache where it used to be. The merchant handed him the fruit. It tasted sweet, but the joy of eating it felt distant, muted. This was the terrifying law of Valkara. To eat, you surrendered a piece of your past. To find shelter, you sold a moment of comfort. To travel, you gave up a memory of love. The city was filled with people whose faces were blank canvases, their eyes holding the profound emptiness of a life unremembered. They were the hollows, souls who had traded everything just to keep breathing, their humanity stripped away piece by piece. Yusuf knew he had to escape, but every inquiry about a way home cost him. A memory of his mother's lullaby, the memory of his first friend. With each trade, a part of him vanished, and a chilling fear grew in his heart. Soon, he wouldn't even remember what he was trying to get back to. It was in a dimly lit alley, trying to hide from the memory collectors who patrolled the city, that he met her, Lena. Her eyes, unlike so many others, held a fierce, defiant spark. She moved with a purpose that was rare in this city of ghosts. He saw her fend off a collector, her movements swift and desperate. "They want what's left," she whispered to him later, her voice trembling but strong. "They want everything." Lena told him she had only one memory left. She wouldn't say what it was, but she guarded it with her life. It was her anchor, the last thread connecting her to the person she once was. She saw the same desperation in Yusuf's eyes. Together, they began to search for answers, navigating the treacherous memory markets and avoiding the gaze of the city's silent rulers. They discovered the dark secret at the heart of Valkara. The city was ruled by a council of timeless beings who feasted on the most potent memories of pure love, profound grief, and unbridled joy. These memories didn't just buy goods. They fueled the rulers' immortality, keeping them young and powerful while their citizens faded into nothingness. The entire city was a farm, and its people were the crop. Lena and Yusuf learned of a way out, a legend whispered among the few who still had memories left to hope with. The same gate Yusuf entered through could be a portal home, but it demanded the highest price. To open it from this side, one must offer a memory so powerful, so fundamental to one's being, that its loss would change you forever. As they pieced together the clues, a bond formed between them, forged in shared fear and a desperate clinging to what little identity they had left. Yusuf found himself falling for Lena, for the strength in her gaze, for the ghost of a smile that sometimes graced her lips. In a world designed to erase feeling, he was feeling more than ever. This new feeling, this love for her, became his most precious possession. They finally found the chamber of the return gate, hidden deep beneath the ruler's palace. It was identical to the one he'd entered. The air crackled with power. This is it, Yusuf breathed, a mix of hope and terror rising within him. But as he reached for the gate, an ethereal voice echoed in the chamber, cold and absolute. The price must be paid. To return to your world, you must surrender the memory of the person you love most. Yusuf froze. His heart hammered against his ribs. He looked at Lena, her face, her courage, the way she looked at him. All of it had become his reason for fighting. To give up the memory of her would be to erase the most important part of his journey, the very thing that had kept him whole. It would be a fate worse than becoming one of the Hollows. He would return home, but as a man with a gaping wound in his soul, forever haunted by a love he could no longer remember. He looked at the gate, then back at Lena, who watched him with knowing, heartbroken eyes. He had to make a choice: survival or love. A life of freedom with an empty heart, or a life trapped here with the only person who mattered. What would you sacrifice to survive? He reached out his hand.